Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to week 3 of the Teacup for One Summer Movie Marathon. My name is Matt, and I have 2 degrees, and tonight we are talking about a favorite movie of pretty well everyone on the planet who has 2 eyes, a heart, and a soul. Maybe even people who don't have 2 eyes. Anyone who has a soul can't dislike this movie. Well, they probably could, but there would have to be at least like one song that they would like. Tonight we're talking about Grease. Grease, it's the word, it's the time, it's the place, it's the motion. Grease, it's the way we are feeling. Grease is a life of illusion. I don't remember the rest of the lyrics. So, yeah, Grease, Olivia Newton-John, John Travolta, Stockard Channing, Didi Khan, all-star cast, cameos. I would consider Sid Caesar a cameo. Sid Caesar shows up. Frankie Avalon, Frankie Valli. It's just an all-star film from a great Broadway musical, which at the time was, I think, a current Broadway hit when this was made in the 70s. But yeah, tonight's all about the 50s. We love the 50s. Pink Ladies, T-Birds, and the like. Let's bring in our first guest for this evening. You know her, you love her. It's Jeanette, everybody. Hello, Jeanette.
Hello.
So, Jeanette, tell me, Pink Ladies or T-Birds, who would you be rolling with?
Oh, realistically, I love the Pink Ladies. I did a Halloween costume as them when I was a young child, preteen, whatever. Yeah, so I guess Pink Ladies because that's what I've bought into. But
Nice.
there's a realism to it too. I'd probably end up being like, hanging out with the guys. So
Fair. Oh, we have a comment. Who could it be? Is it one of the cats? Oh, it's Yoda from Mark. Woo! Delightful. And what is your favorite song in Grease?
it is probably the closing number, but if I had to pick another one, it would be Grease Lightning.
Grease Lightning? Classic.
Yes.
Love it.
Yes.
Love it. All right, let's bring in our next guest for this evening. What's this? Oh, Vince. Vince is going to be a little late. Sure thing. There we are. Well, let's bring our next guest. You may remember her from 2 weeks ago. It's Disney Sam, everybody. Hi, Sam.
Hello. Hi.
Pink Lady,
Hello.
dye your hair just for this show?
No, I've had it dyed. It just hasn't been obvious in like other episodes.
Oh, was it like that for the Jaws episode and we just didn't see
That's
it?
okay. It wasn't like great.
It was
It's all right.
beautiful.
Thank you. I did it myself now and I like really am feeling it. So
Love it.
Thank you.
So Sam, would you be rolling with the Pink Ladies or the T-Birds?
okay, so I feel like I would want to be a Pink Lady, but I feel like in reality, I'd be hanging out with Patty Simcox, like respectfully. Like, they'd be like, no, like you need to go hang out with her, like you're lame.
Patty Simcox deserves more respect, honestly.
Yes.
She's just playing by the rules. It's okay.
Yes.
She proves herself to kind of be a mean girl. So
Yes. We can discuss. Yes.
yeah. Some of these people are not nice people.
I think the
Correct.
standards for what that is has changed too.
Okay.
What
fair.
a mean girl is. Yeah.
Sure.
I still feel like it's universally mean to gossip about a girl you think is pregnant in like within
Correct.
a thought of her to be like, that's the one I was telling
That's
you.
the one right there.
Of course, say it, but wait till you're out of earshot.
Correct.
All right, let's bring our next guest for this evening. Fan favorite, it's Miriam from the Churl Fund. Miriam, it's so good to see you again.
Hello. It's good to see you guys too. I'm so excited to
Awesome.
talk about this movie.
So excited to hear your thoughts on this movie. Oh, and do you have like a whole breakdown on the wardrobe like you did for Romeo plus Juliet?
Oh, yes. Of course I do.
Can't wait to hear it. But same question for you, Miriam. Are you a Pink Lady or a T-Bird?
Listen, I would love to be a Pink Lady, but I know that I'm a Sandy, honestly. Like,
Sandy
they
becomes a
wouldn't
Pink-
have me.
Sandy's a
She
Pink
does. After, like, changing who she is entirely. Like, I just know I would have been rejected from the Pink Ladies. Like, there's no way. I was not that cool in high school. But I would have loved to see them walk by me in the halls. I would have been, like, starstruck, you know?
Right? Wouldn't we all be just it's next level to have like bespoke jackets made for your clique in high school. I think there were cliques in my high school. They had like stickers made for themselves, but no jackets. Stickers felt a little intense at the time.
That's a lot of trouble to go through.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's see who we have in the chat today. We've got my cats, as always. Sabrina loved Grease. I believe it. Oh, Eliza liked the dancing. Good. She's a cycle lord. Wait, I missed at what point this comment came in. Who's a cycle lord? Tell us. And my mom up here. Oh, I didn't realize my mom saw this in theaters. That's exciting. I have seen this movie in theaters once. It was re-released in the 90s, probably for like the 20th anniversary, thinking back. And
Yeah.
the movie plays different on a big screen, like better,
Yes.
if even possible. But yeah.
Good
Oh, and I
vibes.
forgot to ask, Sam and Miriam, what is your favorite song in the film?
Oh, mine is Sandy, the one he sings at the drive-through, the drive-in. I love that song. That's like my favorite song in that movie.
It's great. It's a classic.
Yes.
Baby. Miriam?
It's a tie between Hopelessly Devoted and Rizzo's song, What Is Wrong With Me?
There's worse thing I
There
can
are
do.
worse things I
Yes.
can do. Yeah. I like to scream sing those in my car. So
Nice. I feel so basic. My favorite song is probably Summer Nights or You're the One That I Want. Actually, maybe Summer Nights. Because Summer Nights, that's a song that introduced me to Grease, which is the segue now.
Right, yeah.
Tell us how you first discovered this movie. I have a very distinct memory. It was because of a talent show in grade 4. Frances Russos, who was like, and thinking back, I'm insulted she didn't ask me to be in this, but whatever. For the talent show, she put together a full dance routine with there were 3 girls and 3 guys, and they did this choreographed dance to the Grease Mega Mix, which was such a thing in the 90s. And it's still a classic. Sometimes it's even on the real radio.
I played it at my wedding. It was fun.
See, it's a classic. We love it.
It was awesome.
And so just seeing that and hearing the music, that the music was what sold me. And then the cute little costumes was kind of a bonus as well. And I guess my mom must have seen it at the talent show. And then that got me to watching the film. I just thought I'm sold. These songs are catchy. The characters are fun. Yeah, sure. Most of the narrative is going over my head because I'm 9, 10, but still I'm here for it. I love it. And then I saw the Broadway tour shortly after, which would have been the touring production of the production that was on Broadway with Rosie O'Donnell, because that was a thing in the 90s, and Billy Porter of Kinky Boots and general fame. He was the angel that sang Beauty School Dropout.
Nice.
Again, not when I
want to see that.
It's probably online. And the recording exists, the audio recording, and it's great. And ever since then, just Grease has always been a part of my life. I've never gotten to do the show. I've always wanted to. I was about to say now I'm too old, but we saw how old these people were in this film. So
Correct.
It's always possible. Sam, how'd you discover this movie?
I think it was just again, we talked about with Jaws, one of those movies that the family all likes to watch, and it was always a big part of my life, especially with my dad. I don't know why, he loves this movie. So I've seen Grease on Ice, that was a thing. My dad and a bunch of the neighbors, we all went and saw Grease on Ice, which was cool. My brother was in it, when he was in 7th or 8th grade, and he was Danny Zuko. So it's just always been a part of my life and the framework of my being. So this is a special movie to me. So I'm glad I get to be here and chat about it today.
Oh, as am I. Miriam, how about you? How'd you discover Grease?
So I was obsessed with musicals when I was little. So I think when I was around 6 or 7, my mom was like, "Oh, you'll love Grease." And so she played it. And I think she kind of knew all these jokes are going to just fly right by you. And honestly, it wasn't until college until I realized what most of this was about. I watched this all the time growing up, and I didn't realize until college, oh, she was pregnant, maybe. What's happening here? I feel the same thing happened to me with Dirty Dancing. Had no idea what that movie was about until college. And I was I watched this every weekend of my childhood. What do you mean? But yeah, and then she got me it was one of my first CDs was the soundtrack. And what I loved about that soundtrack is they also had songs from the musical in it, from Broadway. Gosh, what is
on Prom Night?
Yes, incredible. And what was the other one that they cut from the movie? The girl who was dating all.
Yeah.
No.
Mooning. I spend my days just mooning.
all over.
That one, but also the song that what's the girl who was
Yep,
dating all the guys in the army?
Oh,
Oh.
Freddie My Love. Freddie
Yeah.
My Love. Yeah.
Yes,
Freddie My Love.
That's a good
Loved
one.
that song. So I have never
Yes.
seen the musical actually, I've never seen the stage show. So I'm
I'm-
only
yeah,
a
me
movie fan and soundtrack fan. So I feel like I got a little bit of both though, because they put the soundtrack together with some of the musical songs. So
Mhm.
Nice. Yeah, the show on stage is interesting. Yeah, we'll probably get to that. We'll probably get to that. Also, I will probably come back to this a lot. Grease Live a few years ago on Fox was amazing. I have it on DVD. I watch it like not the whole DVD, but I'll watch clips every once in a while just because of how good it was. So I highly recommend check out Grease Live. Jeanette, how'd you discover Grease?
I don't remember a time where I don't remember Grease, but I'm pretty sure like the first time I sat down and watched it, like, and was like, we're gonna watch Grease was at like a sleepover when I was real little. So like maybe second grade or something. Like that's the first time I remember intentionally watching Grease. And then after that, I wanted to have a Grease birthday party, and nobody in the area would do a Grease cake. And so,
Ooh.
or they didn't know how.
Rude.
And so we had built a pool that year, so we had a pool cake. But then I played the Grease soundtrack at my birthday party while we were in the pool. So that's cool. Yeah, and I love it. And it's one of those movies like American Psycho or Clockwork Orange where I watch it like twice a year, and I'm like, it's great, it's fun, and it's wonderful.
Nice. The fun thing with this week, like it being the movie for this week, I did rewatch it, but I realized it was my first time rewatching it in a very, very long time. I think I just always assumed that I watched this movie more than I do, but
Mhm.
I would wager it's been over 10 years, maybe over 15 years since I last watched the film from start to finish. So that segues nicely into how does it hold up. Before we get there, we've got some activity in the comments. So here we go. It is not your shirt, Mother. It is my shirt. I got it when I did a commercial for these. So the commercial is now live. If you want to see me walking in heels for the first time ever and masking how bloody painful it was, it's on my Instagram. So watch that. Hopelessly Devoted, but it's not in the music. Okay, well, this is the weird thing with Grease. And again, it's on my list of things I want to talk about, but the stage show now is so affected by the movie that I've seen it on stage so many times, and it has been like illegally reworked so many times by all the different theater companies I've seen produce Grease to put in songs that don't belong there. It's hilarious. Another vote for Hopelessly Devoted to You. And Summer Nights, of course. Beauty School Dropout is a karaoke go-to.
That's my number 3. Yeah.
Beauty School Dropout, it is a classic. I'm a fan. Oh, apparently Francis's cousin taught her the routine. That makes more sense than a 9-year-old teaching other 9-year-olds to drive. And Kiara's here. Did the whole summer? And you're the one that I want in music and high school choir with.
Cute. Yeah, you'd make a great Sandy.
Oh yeah.
Duh.
Oh yeah, and Boys to Men. Boys to Men played the Teen Angels on Grease Live.
That's wild.
That makes sense.
Yep, and the Jonas Brother band, DNCE, they were the band at the dance, and they sang Born to Hand Jive, and it was so good. It was so
DNCE,
good.
who does the like
Cake by the Ocean.
Oh no, that's not who I'm thinking of. Never mind.
Yeah, Cake by the Ocean. So many good greasy things. So, how do we feel this movie holds up? After the recent rewatches. In my mind, I was oscillating a lot between this hasn't aged well, and also, but maybe it was always meant to be like kind of satirical and a little bit offensive. So yeah, like it didn't ruin the movie for me, but definitely stuff stood out where I thought, oh, I don't know how I feel about this. And my biggest takeaway was that I really don't like Danny. As a character. I think John Travolta
really?
I think John and Olivia have really solid chemistry. So like I'm not angry that he's on screen, and I'm not holding it against John Travolta because I think he does a great job. But yeah, Danny's a jerk. I don't like Danny. My biggest takeaway was really Kenickie is amazing. Kenicky's always been kind of my favorite character.
Yeah, he's always
been the one that I was like, I want to be Kenickie on stage. I would never cast myself as Kenickie, but like if I had a choice, That's who I want to be. And in this movie, yeah, he is kind of like teenage douchey, but at the same time, he has like a lot of respectable moments. Like when he's with Rizzo in the car and like his 7th grade insurance policy breaks, he doesn't pressure her. He's like, oh, well, that's too bad. I guess the night's over. And then
Yeah.
no, let's just
Yeah.
Kaneki just has so many good moments.
He's like just dumb enough.
What's that?
But he's just dumb enough. But he's
Yeah.
not so dumb that he's the dumb guy.
Exactly.
He's like the himbo blueprint.
Yes. Justice for Nikki. And also Rizzo. You know what? That's my big takeaway. This movie, Danny and Sandy are at the forefront, but like Kaneki and Rizzo are the stars.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
I do love them.
They're great. They're great. Oh, you know who else I love? Vince. What's up, Vince?
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
Hey there.
Is Stalker Channing related to Channing Tatum? We'll get there.
I can't wait. You know, there was a movie on TV the other day. I was hanging out with my folks, and apparently Stalker Channing's mother was in it. She was a big movie star back in the day, they say.
She was in Grease?
No. I'm talking about a
she was in
different
the
movie.
you were watching. Okay.
Yeah, from like the old days, probably from the time that Grease was actually set in. You know, probably came out sometime in the 50s. So it's a full circle moment.
It is. It's indeed. So, Vince, tell us, first off, the opening question of the day was, are you a pink lady or a T-bird? And then follow-up question, just tell us your opening statement on this film, if you remember the first time you saw it and how you feel it holds up now.
Okay. Do you want me to mention my favorite song from the musical as well?
Yeah.
Of course. I didn't want to
All
bombard
right.
you with too many things, but...
I think I can handle it. All right. So what was that first question again?
Pink lady or T-bird? Who are you hanging out with?
All right. I want to say I'd be hanging out with the T-Birds, but one of my complaints about this film is that the Beatniks are very underrepresented. Underrepresented.
Are they
I would
represented at all?
probably be hanging out with the Beatniks in the 50s, but they're not in the film at all. So in lieu of a Beatnik presence, I'd be hanging out with the Greasers, I'm sure. But the Pink Ladies are nice. I don't know if they'd have me. I'd hang out with them. Sure.
They seem like a harder club to get into, if I'm
Yeah.
More
honest.
exclusive.
Yes.
I agree.
Yeah, they
I
seem
love
very
it.
choosy.
Yeah.
I feel like the Thunderbirds were like, yeah, come on over. Sure.
My favorite song, I think "You're the One That I Want." That's the one at the end, right? Very
Yeah.
strong ending for this musical, in my opinion. Great tune, and Grease Lightning coming in a hot second, because that's a great bit. My understanding is that John Travolta was really fighting to sing this tune, but he's not supposed to be the guy who sings it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be Kaneki's song, because again, Kaneki's better.
No kidding.
Yeah,
Well-
and John Travolta just wanted it, and he fought hard enough that they said okay, and Kaneki doesn't get to sing anything in this movie now.
Well, was this before the days that he was associated with the Church of Scientology? Because
Oh, yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Wait,
But
which
maybe
one?
Wait. Who's the Church of Scientology?
John
Oh,
Travolta.
John
Travolta.
Travolta.
Oh, John Travolta. Yeah. I thought you meant for a second. I knew him, but I thought you meant the guy who plays Kaneki too. I was like,
I think the guy who plays Kaneki, if not Scientology, I feel like there are questionable things.
Oh, he
Got
was
a-
like
a
hanging
bad
out. With Heaven's
addiction
Gate.
problem.
Yeah, very bad addiction.
Oh,
Mhm.
I'm sorry to hear that. But
Yeah.
anyway, I
You
guess
are
these
funny.
days you don't want to mess with John Travolta, or otherwise you risk the full wrath of the Church of Scientology hammering down upon your film production. But that's not what this is about. I'm sorry for bringing up Scientology.
it was inevitable on the John Travolta movie. I knew we'd get there.
My first exposure to Grease, I think our teacher called in sick one day in school. Must have
And
been
that was
grade
the
7 or
movie.
8. That's the movie. And
Yeah.
the very first exposure, I didn't know what it's about. When they said the title was Grease, I was thinking about the country. So I was really surprised with the disco opening. And then to transition from the disco opening to something about the 50s.
It's great,
But-
isn't it?
The
That is a
animated
good
opening, fantastic. Did Terry Gilliam have anything to do with that? Because
I don't think so.
interesting.
Or maybe he took
It-
inspiration from it.
It has a very Schoolhouse Rock look to it, that opening.
Yeah.
That was like a very animation style then too. They had that move along guy, like that keep on moving on or guy that was like on the t-shirts back then, that was like had that hair that they have at the beginning and his nose stuck out. He had on like bell bottoms. Anyway, he was like,
Are
this
we
guy
to
that was
believe
on
that that's
Chase.
supposed to be John Travolta in the beginning?
So
That's wild.
that whole animated sequence is wild.
I know. I posted in the group that one
I love
picture,
it.
and I was like,
Oh, and the
The
stalker
Stockard
is,
Channing animation is forever just.
And
I
it's
mean,
so-
that's like the worst.
it's so unfortunate because before she looks in the mirror, she's so cute.
She's fine.
Mhm.
It
She's
also looks like
fine.
Stockard Channing. It looks like a good
And then
animated
she goes-
Stockard Channing.
like, it's so horrible.
What's
Oh,
going on?
apparently Vince Travolta is believed to have started practicing Scientology in
Yeah,
75.
it was right around. Yeah, it was right
Okay.
around this time. It
Interesting.
was during
Oh.
the disco time. Yeah.
It sucks for Kaneki.
There we go. So, yeah, Vince, how do you feel this movie holds up now?
Look, I don't know. It set the ground for so much. If we didn't have Grease, we wouldn't have Riverdale. I don't think. You know, did Grease like set the stage for
It helped.
casting 30 and 40-year-olds as teenagers, or was that a thing before that?
It helped spawn the teenage movie as we know it today,
Mm.
right? Like, or as we knew it until the early 2000s, I suppose.
Yeah, I appreciate it for that. I appreciate it for, you know, it has some real bangers on its soundtrack. I like that. But it's not my favorite. Watching it again, it was a little tough at times. You know, I wanted to go watch something else, but eventually, I guess, I don't know. I knew there was always a bit that I liked around the corner, which kept me around. So, I don't know.
Well said.
Grease
Yeah,
is good.
I think the songs are paced really well. It was like a nice experience for me of, I don't have to wait that long. And then all of a sudden there's another song that I either forgot about or didn't expect to come so soon. And yeah, that's just something I always appreciate with a movie musical, especially, is having the songs evenly paced so that you're not waiting too long and stuff's moving along. So yeah. Jeanette, how do you think it holds up?
I mean, I'm on the page of, and whether it's just hopefully or realistically, I'm on the page of it. It speaks to a satirical note in any age since I've watched it. Like since the 90s on, this has been a satirical take on what it's commenting on to me. So I take it that way, and I think that makes it hold up. Because I think that if you can view it that way, then it's always going to hold up, because you'd be like, yeah, that's not cool, or that is cool, or whatever. Like, I don't know. I just go into it being like, I like the music, and there's only about 10 minutes between songs. So, you know, it's a musical. Just chill out. It's fine.
Sam, what about you?
So, like, kind of like what you said earlier, Matt, like I hadn't realized how long it had been since I'd watched this movie. And like, I like got a notebook, I started taking notes, and I was like, woof, like this thing aged like milk. Like I didn't realize how many like date rape jokes there were. Like, oh my God, like Vince Fontaine for prison. Because what? Because what?
In her drink.
Like, I was watching it and she's like, oh, I caught Vince Fontaine putting aspirin in my Coke. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I
was like, aspirin? What is that?
Watching that. I'm like, what? And like, I remember at first thinking like, oh, he's not that much older than her, because like how about the actors look?
I think
then
they
I'm watching-
take that out on TV, because I literally don't like, or wherever it's available on streaming or whatever, because I was like, I don't remember seeing that until recently, or I don't remember that scene about the aspirin. That literally was one of like two things that stood out on this rewatch. When you said that, I'm like, yeah, you're right. I was like, huh?
And like what we were saying about like the age of the actors, like I remember watching like Marty with Vince Fontaine. I'm like, oh, like maybe he's supposed to be like 19 or whatever. And then I'm watching, I'm like, oh no, he's a skeezy man. Like what? Like, your parents know I come into your bedroom at night. What? Like,
that part's always stood out to me. My friends and I used to laugh about that part. We used to joke about it.
like, what? So Fontaine for prison 2024. Like, what are you doing?
Oh my God.
But like It's one of those like it's like that Onion article where it's like woman turns off the feminist part of her brain to enjoy a movie, and it's like, yeah, of course, But I watched it with like a critical lens this time, and I'm like, oh, wow. And they have us like doing this play in 5th grade and stuff, you know.
Well, because you're not doing all those in between bits, right?
Correct.
Like you're literally, they're like, get these songs out, do these songs, you know.
That's when
like
you get,
they're
like,
taking
girl
out the
singing
aspirin and the
Pussy
coke.
Wagon. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What are they? And I think when my brother did it, it was like a dragon wagon. I'm like,
Yeah, Dragon Wagon's the alternate.
and I'm like,
Good lord.
that's not the words.
It took me a while to figure out that it didn't mean a car where cats could ride.
Did it really?
yeah.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
cute.
yeah.
Oh,
It was
man.
like, I learned the song when I was 9 or 10, and I
You
was like,
precious angel
they're
baby,
gonna put all
Matt.
the kittens in the car? Like, are they going to get cats and Grease Lightning? I'm all for that.
That's very cute.
What did you think it meant when they said they were getting lots of in Grease Lightning? What did you think that
I knew what that meant.
They say it in such a way though, like literally I didn't even hear what they were
Correct.
saying until like
Yeah.
later. I was probably like 12 or 13 before I figured out what they were. I was like slowed down enough. I was like, oh yeah. I mean, I even knew what the rest of the song meant. I just literally didn't know what they were saying right there. I'm like, what are they? They're
Right.
just talking so fast. I was like, what?
Or maybe I thought that if they had kittens in the car, it would lure the girls to the car because girls like kittens. Maybe that's
That's
what I thought.
creepier, Matt.
Matt,
Is it?
that's
That's
almost
a lot creepier.
We all nod in agreement. Yes, Matt.
That's
It's creepy you've got a car with
Literally
a
all the other squares. Matt's like
just
really we're
having
like,
girls in your car. Bye. Having cats to lure girls to your car. Way creepier.
Kidnapping. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
cat napping. Yes.
Both.
Yeah.
Miriam, how do you think the movie holds up?
I kind of feel the same way, and I started to have this because I watched this movie a lot, and I started to have this critical eye of like maybe a decade ago. My thing is the amount of fat jokes towards Jan.
Dan,
And
yes.
let's talk about how
I-
she is the same size as Sandy, if
I
not
realized-
taller.
That was the other part that stuck out this time, and I rewound
Yeah.
it 3 times to make sure I heard
Oh.
what he was saying
yes.
correctly.
So
Because I
many
had
fat
never
jokes
heard
about
that
her.
before, and I was like, Stockard
There's more to
Channing
you
is
than
the
just
largest
fat.
woman of
What?
all of these women, and she's
Yeah.
not large either. But she is.
Well, listen,
Arguably,
when you
I
grow
was
up
like,
as a
what?
chubby kid, you always notice these things. So I, as a kid, was like, "Oh, that's a fat person," because they're telling me it is. And now
Mhm.
looking at it, so then growing up with that lens, I'm like, "Oh, well, I'm bigger than her, so I'm never gonna fit in here." And then you see it as an adult, and you're like, "Oh, she's like a 00. Like, what is even happening?" Like,
Well, and
especially the
yeah,
last
all of
scene
them
when
are.
she's finally in something that fits her. You're
Correct.
like, oh, that's the smallest woman that ever lived. They do
Yeah.
the same thing with Bette Midler in every movie made at this time. And I'm like, oh, she just has boobs. Like, why are we saying she's fat? I'm so confused. Like, not that that's a bad thing, but they made it
No.
a bad thing in this movie. And I will say, I think the best T-Bird is Putsy because he is so sweet to Jan and everybody else is kind of
Yes.
mean to her. And I hate that.
Yes.
So I love Jan. She's funny. She got a personality because everyone was telling her she's fat and like not worth anything. And then Putsy like thinks whenever he's looking at her, it's like an angel has descended. I think he treats her the best out of any Thunderbird treating any of their girlfriends here. And I just love them. And also Frenchie is clearly still a style icon. Like
Oh,
Yeah.
Period.
impeccable. Why was she not the
Period.
most popular girl in all of
Yeah.
this? Like
Frenchie was my
sorry,
favorite growing
Rizzo and
up.
Sandy,
and-
very
Yes.
boring. Frenchie, chef's kiss, amazing.
Frenchie
Full
was
stop.
ahead of her time. That's why.
Period.
The world
And she has the worst boyfriend, Putsy or Duty. Go away. You're terrible.
Duties. We like
No,
Duty.
I
Duty.
Duty
disagree.
is awful. Bye.
I like
Bye-bye.
Duty better than Putsy because
I like him.
Putsy was the one looking up the girls' skirts on the bleachers in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, they're all
Oh,
gross.
he was.
Yes, and
Yeah.
Judy tells Frenchie she's a beautiful blonde pineapple,
Apple.
Yeah.
which is what a compliment.
What a compliment.
Except Duty and Frenchie don't like have a photo op at the end. Isn't Duty the one with the
All-
dog?
Yes, which is
I get the
weird.
impression
Yeah.
Frenchie just needed a date to the prom and that they
Yes.
weren't actually together.
All of them are nasty boys when they're all together, and
Mhm.
none of them are really reliable. They seem like interchangeable boyfriends in the group at some point. It's kind of weird.
It's kind of like
Mhm.
Alvin and the Chipmunks, I feel, and the
Uh,
Chipettes. Like they just feel. It feels like, yeah, they just
When
they
one's
date
not
each
there, they just morph into
Yeah.
being the other one's.
Mhm.
I don't know. It's very. I don't know. That's how I've always felt. I'm like, who's with who now again? Like they all seem to pair off weird. I don't know.
Well, again, I think the only ones that matter are Rizzo and Kaneki. Rizzo and Kaneki for president.
No. Justice for Jan.
Oh, and
Yes.
Jan. I do love
Yeah.
Jan. I do love Jan. Well, yeah, to the note about her wardrobe at the end, I feel like the trajectory is meant to be that she's losing weight throughout the school year because they started off really padded.
No, I think they just were like, we don't have another weird cardigan to put over the top of you to make you look huge. So
Yeah.
here you
And
go.
it wasn't even cardigans. They put her in these dumpy, like pullover sweatshirts. Like
And
the
the
Yeah,
prom
and, like,
dress with
board
her weird
shorts.
cape thing.
Yes.
The prom dress really bugged me. I'm like, what is that?
I mean, it was
Mhm.
yeah.
Unbelievable. No.
the
This was
pigtails.
the first time I noticed them commenting on her. Honestly, when I was younger, I thought they were like making fun of like her teeth. I thought it was because she had like large front teeth,
Yeah, until
and I
Putsy
thought that was
literally-
the whole thing.
Putsy literally says there's more to you than just fat.
Yeah, and this was
Whoa!
literally the first time I
Yeah.
heard that. And I was like, how? Well, what? Come again? It's like I literally had never heard
Yeah,
that
it's
line
because you
before.
didn't grow up chubby. You don't notice these things. They stand out
Well, I
so
did,
hard to you
until I
when
was
you're
like
a kid.
13.
Yeah, I was in the bullying zone, so like it felt different to watch a movie like this with your like regular sized friends, and they're like ha ha ha, and you're like, it's not very funny, but okay, sure,
Mhm.
you know,
Justice for Jan.
yeah.
Justice for
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, before we move on to other things, I'd like to take this opportunity to invite you, Miriam, to give us your wardrobe breakdown.
Well, we started a little bit. Jan needed to be in clothes that were better. I hate every single thing that they put her in. But there's like certain elements of this, like Frenchie's prom dress to me is the iconic prom dress. Like that is what I wanted. The like ruffles, the yellow, everything about it was so perfect. These cheerleading outfits, I kind of wish we would go back to something like this just because I think they're cute. Like it's giving very like Mouseketeer to me. I love all the ribbons in the hair. They had matching jackets. Like this started a whole thing, I think, just having the matching jackets for your clique of friends. I remember in high school, like everybody wanted to have that, even though that's not a thing anymore. I also liked the gym outfits. Like I feel like normally I'm hearing about having to turn out for gym and you had to wear this horrible outfit. And then I look at them like, those are so cute. Like, where did these go? So I was looking at this movie with a lot of jealousy of like, why don't we still dress like this? And then it informed how I dressed in high school and today, as you can see. I still like this. So I love the costuming. I think this is one of those movies that stands out for me. And I like the focus on, I mean, yes, she did drop out of beauty school, but the fact that they did focus on hair in this movie and have a whole song about it where they're all angels and curlers and everything. I just think that's special. We don't get a lot of notice or interest in hairdressing or design in movies like this usually. So loved it. I loved Frenchie's ever-changing hair. Her Easter egg hair. I still want to look like that.
Yeah,
I
It's
still
so
can't
good.
believe that it's meant to be a mistake. That
I
she's-
know when you
so
would have to
good.
work so hard to get to that color, like that is not a mistake. That is impeccable hairdressing that I can hardly even do today still. And I've worked at this for almost 20 years. So, there we go. It's not quite to the level of analysis for Romeo and Juliet that I have, but it is still high on my list. Whenever I'm trying to think of like a 1950s Disneyland look, I always go to Greece to look at the costumes and kind of go off of it from there.
Love that. So let's jump to one of the big topics of conversation with this movie, which is Sandy changing everything about herself for Danny. How do we feel about that scene? How do we feel about that moment? The song is great. The song rocks. We love the song. Is the message bad?
The message is terrible, but again, let me bring it back to the costumes because this is one of the most impactful use of clothes I've ever seen in a movie. Like, she's dressing cute throughout the whole thing, but then when she comes out in the leather, I remember the first time I saw it as a kid, I was like, that is everything. That is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Like, of course, that's what she should have always been. But then as an adult, I'm like, no, don't do it, girl. Don't do it.
Yeah. I like that she's happy. I like that she's happy.
That's what I'm saying. I feel when I was growing up, this scene felt really empowering. Like, I don't know, to the point where I wonder, like, I don't know. There were plenty of times where, I don't know, I kind of did that. I literally went and chopped like all my hair off once for a guy, and then I ended up loving short hair and I had it that way forever. But like, I literally went and lopped all my hair off, and it was a very like, it was like, it felt very that like, and you know, I don't know. This scene felt really empowering, but at the same time, they throw in that one thing where she's being coached. And so that feels kind of like throws it a little bit. But then other than that, if you take that one thing out, it's like, I don't know. I love it.
She started smoking for a man. Okay.
Yes, the smoking thing. I mean, sure. I don't know.
That was rough.
Again, I'm pretty sure there'll be plenty of girls that have said like, yeah, maybe I did. And then later like, but it was my decision to keep doing it. So I don't know.
And then also like kind of changing her personality to, she was giving off like hard to get vibes, even though they've already been like dating. So
yeah, but
I also feel like it's like
they've been separated, like because that was the beginning of the school year, and then this is the end of the school year.
Yeah, but it did feel very much like Frenchie's like, hey, you like him too much, so you need to start playing some games, which I don't know. That doesn't hold up for me.
If they're supposed to be high schoolers, it doesn't sound too far-fetched.
I will bring it back to like when you watch like 7th graders do this, you're like, because they're like, well, we have to dress them like appropriately, but Olivia Newton-John was the hottest thing you've ever seen in your whole life in that movie.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like, how do we translate this?
Yeah.
And it's like, that is so odd to me because like, I like when my brother was in it, they just had her in like leggings and like a black t-shirt or whatever. And I'm like, I mean, I guess, but like it's a weird, she's like, I know how you can make me feel better, but if it would be more impactful at the end, Danny was like, whoa, like you're so hot. And she was like, I did this for me. Piss off, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like but like on the flip side, like Danny did like do track, but it's like, woo, you wore a cardigan over like a sexy black outfit, bro. Like,
and you immediately took it off.
Presumably he's been doing track all year.
Yeah.
To get that. Like he's actually been putting in the work.
But he also didn't change his personality.
Correct. Thank you.
He did though. He calmed down. His friends were like, "Oh, there's Danny." Like they hadn't seen him in a while.
I think I would have liked this better if she had changed because she wanted to and ended up with the jock guy that her the whole time, the blonde one. Who
the one that ended up with the lame chick,
Patty Simcox.
What's her name? Yeah,
Patty Simcox. Her and I would be hanging out.
Stop it! You would be with Frenchie. Stop it.
100. You know what? I'm sorry. You're right. 100%. Frenchie and I would be pals. I'd be like, yes, pierce my ears in the bathroom, please.
Go on. Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, Tom was so mistreated in this movie. I felt so bad for Tom.
He's kind of cute too.
Like, he's the Rocky guy. Is that the
Rocky stand-up guy, and like he has to watch while Sandy laughs at him while she runs off with Danny.
Yeah,
and he's kind of mean.
My favorite like Tom interaction is when they're at the diner and Sandy's like, "Do you want to change the music?" And he goes, "Yeah," and she's like, "Well, I need some money," and I'm like, "Girl, what?"
Well, yeah, she's unabashedly using him. It's so.
I'm like, "Girl, you don't have a quarter?"
Every time that cracks me up.
Is Sandy a bad person? So I feel like she's
Sandy is a little delulu. She is kind of in her own world. She is kind of like hoity-toity a little bit. Like
I don't know.
I'm
I'm gonna stick up for Sandy here. She's new in this country. It's cutthroat. You know, it's in Santa Monica, right? That's a rough place. That's a rough side of town. You know, it's
Australia.
I'm screaming.
Can I just say I really liked John Travolta's opening line, because when she said something in Australian to him, and then he's like, "Don't talk like that, Sandy." It sounds like he's trying to coach her out of the accent.
Oh my god!
Sounds like her dialogue coach or something. I like that. No, you know what? Sandy did what she had to do to survive. You know, I'm gonna die on that hill.
Yeah. Okay. So like the whole movie is her trajectory of surviving in a U.S. high school.
Yeah, adapting to a hostile situation, a hostile environment. Kind of like Betty Cooper's arc in Riverdale.
Oh. Betty Cooper.
Yeah.
Justice for Betty.
Justice for Betty. I agree.
You didn't need to do all that other stuff. That was, yeah. Anyways, different show, different episode,
different show, different times. Yeah. Sandy. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about the makeover in general. I think, yeah, I like the idea that maybe she's doing it for her, but at the same time, like, I want to believe that Danny liked her for everything that she was bringing to the table, as was like in her cute little Sandy conservative outfits. Like that's like this is who you are, Sandy.
Don't that's how he fell in love with her at the beach, and she was in her little.
Worth it.
What'd you say?
I maintain Danny's not worth it.
I don't know. I feel like I'd risk it all for John Travolta in that era of his life.
Yes, I was about to say.
I'm so sorry. I'd risk it all.
This is another Bi Awakening film. If at the end of this film you're not like, I'm very confused as to who I'm supposed to be attracted to right now.
Especially when Cha Cha enters the chat. I was like, when I saw her when I was little.
45-year-old woman.
Yeah, I don't care. Her dress was amazing. The dancing was wonderful. She was kind of tacky, and I loved it as a child. I was oh man, that's it. That's who I love here.
Sign me up for St. Bernadette's.
Did either of you girls think that Crater Face was a little like, no, just me? No,
he scared me. I don't know.
I need therapy.
That
should have been an inside thought.
Like that sometimes. He's a little like, I don't know. He didn't have the chutzpah behind it. He was just he was like slimy, and that was it. I was like, give me something else. Give me one more dimension.
I think it's time for a Crater Face spinoff to replace Pink Ladies.
There you go.
You're right. We need his origin story.
Yeah. Please.
Got to bring it. Got to bring the origin story. He was the one that even as a kid, when I was able to suspend my disbelief, or I was just purely ignorant as to what high schoolers look like, he was the one that I always thought, why is this man here bullying these kids?
Oh, for me, it was Sonny. He was so old. I was like, who is this?
He's 50 years old.
Yeah, Sonny is the oldest man in
Sonny just has a really full beard. Like
he was definitely the oldest. He was in his 40s. That was wild. Why did they have that?
Which one is Sonny again?
The short curly hair, the dark.
Okay, I thought so. I thought so.
Likes the bunch of the dance.
The one no one wants to hang
I
out
thought
with
so. I was
so
making sure.
annoying.
I'm like, I think that's the one. Yeah.
And they're like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Washing my hands." I'm like, "Bro, what?" He's spiking the pot.
Yeah, that was a weird situation.
The whole thing.
Maybe he just kept failing, and that's why he's still there.
Probably. They all
they did make that joke with him and the principal, but it still didn't check out. He's still the oldest man to ever live in this movie. So.
Are him and Sid Caesar the same age in this movie? Discuss.
Yeah, no, he's as old as Vince Fontaine in this.
Oh, gosh. Oh yeah, let's just take a moment to revel in Sid Caesar and the joy that is Sid Caesar. I don't think I ever appreciated his humor in this movie until this rewatch. Like it's so, I don't know what it is, but I love it. Especially when
good.
he's describing how he's gonna like they're gonna rip them up and tear them into pieces and then rip them up again. And like at the pep rally, Sid Caesar. I want him as my motivation speaker.
I feel like I can imagine him and the like ditzy secretary like having a romance. I feel like there was something there
truly.
between them, right?
Yeah. This movie was a little clueless too. This felt a little like in that realm too. Like this kind of again feeding into the teenage movie, but like that part of it where you mentioned that, I'm like, yeah, you could see that because that lady fell in love with everybody that got behind a microphone. That little
She was in love with
lady,
Tom.
she'd just fall in love with anybody that was on stage behind a microphone. She was like, ah.
Wait, who is this? Blanche?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Blanche. Yeah, sorry.
She was
I'm
in love
thinking
with
of the
Tom.
other
She
lady
was
that's
dancing
from
with
Designing
Tom.
Woman too.
Oh, Blanche.
She was dancing with Tom at the dance, remember?
Which one's?
At the- yeah, Tom. The
Which
boy
one's-
that liked Sandy.
Oh yes, that. Oh yeah,
He
Justice
was
for
like,
Tom.
holding him by the necktie. Another one, prison. What are you doing? That boy is in high school, allegedly.
Allegedly, supposedly.
Yoda from Mark brings up a good point. It was meant to be a parody of the 50s from the 70s.
Yeah,
So I feel like we're
exactly.
so far
Yeah.
removed now from the 70s, like as opposed to the audiences then that more or less would have had a conscious awareness of like what it was like in the 50s. So do you think any references or satirical pieces of humor are going over our heads now? As
No, I think the 50s also need to go to jail. Like I do believe that whatever the Vince Fontaine, I think that would have happened in real life in the 50s. And like I don't know if some of that is satire. Like the 50s were crazy. Go to jail.
Correct.
What's going on?
True. That happened on Happy Days a few times.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Wasn't Fonzie offered the role of Danny Zuko, or is
I
that
think
just
so.
a rumor?
I think you
That sounds
feel like
familiar.
that sounds right.
Yeah, he would have been a little old at the time, I think. Like,
Would have fit.
He was old for Happy Days.
Yes.
but you know what? It worked in Happy Days, and
did.
I don't know.
It
I
did.
guess Travolta is the better fit for this character, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh, this is just classic Travolta. This
Yeah.
and Face Off, of course.
Of course. And Punisher. He was great in Punisher.
Oh, and Hairspray.
Oh,
Hairspray.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
well, you're talking about Battlefield Earth too?
What? No, no.
No.
Hairspray. I do. I think I'm one of the only people that actually like John Travolta in Hairspray.
I love John Travolta in Hairspray.
He wasn't
He's
bad.
the perfect choice.
Okay. Oh, I'm so happy.
What he do an episode on Hairspray? I could sit here
I
and
have,
talk about
like,
it for hours.
I would love to talk about Hairspray. That movie. Ooh, so good.
I
One
saw
day.
it 7 times in theaters. Zac
100%.
Efron, are you kidding me?
Our last time with Amanda Bynes pre now.
Oh no,
love her.
she was in Easy A after that.
Oh,
she didn't do
yes,
much.
okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this was her last like main thing though. Yeah.
Mhm.
Love Amanda Bynes. So, so Grease, kind of jumping back to how it was written as a parody of the 50s, etc. Like, what do you think outside of entertainment? Do you think we're meant to take anything away from Grease, from the story, from like why does Grease
No.
persist? Why is it still so popular? Is it just because the music is really good? Do you think there's a message at all? Do you think there's no message? It won't die. I'm not complaining because I love it.
I think no matter how old you are or what your high school experience was like, there are pieces of this that echo through everyone's high school experience, you know? Like the popular group of kids, the whatever. I feel like there is always going to be something that feels like, even if this is totally different now, like I can see parts of my high school within this movie, just like you can see him in any high school movie. So I think it just fits in that genre of, it's in the she's all that of it all. So,
Mhm.
you know, I don't know.
I agree. I don't know what we're supposed to learn from it. Maybe it's like a cautionary tale. I don't know. Like, don't do this for a dude. I don't know.
Guy.
I don't know. I'll throw it out there again. I grew up thinking that like a lot of this was like an empowerment thing. I literally thought this was like a feminism thing growing up. I was like, yeah, this is meant to point out all of the stupid stuff. It's also meant to point out like the constriction, like we talked about during Dazed and Confused, the constriction of authority and how it loosens up over time. And the kids today definitely can talk to authority figures differently than we were able to talk to authority figures. So it's, I don't know, I feel like that's a thing that happens over time, is authority loosens up on the youth, at least in our lifetimes, or like in the scope of our lifetimes. So that was always, I just felt like this was a teenage movie in that way, where it was like pointing out like, just coming of age and like speaking to the times again, like the parody of coming into, it was late 70s going into early 80s, like the mentality of what they considered female empowerment at the time, which, just watching it in the 90s, pre 1998, so it would have been less than 20 years old, like not that far removed from that time period. It still felt kind of like, yeah, sure, take your power, do what you're going to do. I feel like Stockard Channing's song is very empowering.
I was going to say, I think her arc you can learn the most from. Like,
Yes.
she was so mean to Sandy, probably out of jealousy. And then when she falls on, like, the scariest, hardest thing she's going to go through, Sandy's kind of, like, she at least checks on her, and was like, are you okay? And then I feel like maybe it puts her on a different path of, like, maybe I should be nicer to people, or not. Like, but she keeps her humor, right? And I don't know. I feel like her arc is probably the most interesting out of all of them.
And Marty, who's supposed to be Rizzo's friend, tells everybody about the pregnancy.
Yeah.
Marty is bad.
Marty's
Marty
really
sucks.
just an average, like she's just a gossipy little,
Yeah.
But Marty is, I don't know, she's supporting the troops though.
She sure is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Again, another joke as a kid, I was like, what does that mean? Like, what? She has all these pictures. Like, what does that mean? Like,
yeah.
She just writes him letters.
Well, and when I was a kid, that was a part that felt empowering. Like, I was like, you can have as many boyfriends you freaking want. You can, sure.
I loved
they have
Marty. Marty
at
at this sleepover. I love Marty telling the whole school about her best friend possibly being pregnant. I don't love.
Rude.
Sleepover Marty. What a great time. Love her. Hilarious.
What a gal.
So does she actively tell people, or is it just when she says "lady" with the
No,
baby?
she's very active. Well,
She tells Sunny.
one person.
Oh, she tells Sunny.
And then Sunny tells.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Dominoes.
I will say that's another thing that stood out to me as being kind of, this hasn't aged well, was Marty like dating all the Marines or whatever, because my brain went to, how old are these guys dating this probably 17 girl.
And then trying to talk to the man who's trying to slip drugs in her drinks,
Well, and she's the girl that's supposed to like older guys. That's the whole gag. Like, she's that chick. So I mean, like, I think we're set up to understand that pretty early on. She doesn't take any of those young guys very seriously. She has two of them are like talking.
Well, who's she left with, Sunny? I don't blame her. Disgusting.
The oldest man alive.
Oldest man alive. Yeah, she's like,
she knows her worth.
I'll actually date someone who looks younger than this. Okay.
Yeah.
And I will bring it back to Grease Live and say Keke Palmer played Marty in Grease Live, and she was amazing. And she got to do Freddie My Love, and it's one of the best sequences because they somehow do this seamless transition from the bedroom set, bearing in mind that all this was shot live. Like, they like go through her bedroom door, through her closet, then they're like on like an Army Reserve style stage, and she's entertaining the troops, and it's such a good sequence. And also, we love Keke Palmer. By we, I mean me. I don't know if you do.
The version of that song is good. I've never seen Grease Live, but I have that version of that song on Spotify, and it's so good. You're so right.
She's so good. She's such a
Keke
good
Palmer
Marty.
is an icon and a legend.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. To bring it back to what you were saying, Jeanette, about how it is sort of it can be seen as empowering. Though hearing you say that, I realized, I feel like Sandy is written to definitely be a character who seems super sheltered, which I feel they really, again, Grease Live, they reintroduced the idea by, instead of her being Australian, because it was Julianne Hough and she's not Australian, they implied that she was like from a very conservative Mormon family, which added a lot of interesting layers. Yeah, the whole dance scene.
Is she homeschooled?
They talk about how she was homeschooled until this, like her going to Rydell was her first time in a real school with people, like with other kids essentially. And then the whole conflict with the dance scene is that she lied to her parents to sneak out to go to the dance. And the reason that she like leaves and Danny ends up dancing with Cha-Cha is because she accidentally gets on TV and she doesn't want her parents to know that she's out, like to see her on the broadcast. So she runs away and she leaves. And yeah, so I know there just seems to be this constant thing with Sandy as being a sort of sheltered character. And I think in that regard, it makes me buy the makeover a little bit more. Like maybe she has a curiosity in wanting to change how she dresses and how she expresses herself. And I think that
could have been sold a little bit better had we ever met Sandy's parents. Like in this, I think that would have... It would have added a little bit of context if they were like really, trying like sheltering her too much or being too like constrictive of what she's allowed to do. I always got the sense that she just like was uncomfortable with like all the things the Pink Ladies were doing, but it would have, if they had shown her parents being super strict, I think maybe that would have been more empowering at the end in some way.
I agree with that. And that's why, like, when Jeanette was talking about, like, well, it's supposed to be like a big, like, subversion to authority. I'm like, there's no authority in this move. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no, like, I guess, like, the principal.
School,
like,
yeah.
Even then, like, there's no, like.
Well, and the lack of parents. We don't see parents. Like,
yeah, at all.
To me,
they're all alluded to.
Yeah.
Like Frenchie, like we know her parents are like strict because when the boys pull up in the driveway, she's like, my parents can't see them here.
Yeah.
Like they're going to kill me. And then
all we know definitely been at like a sleepover where that's been the case where it's like, oh, gotta be super careful, you know?
And
yeah.
Go ahead.
Like the people we see the most in this are the diner ladies, you know? They're like, they're basically just living vicariously through these kids, which is real sweet, but like they're not authority either. They're just like,
no, and that's like the lack, I guess it's the lack of authority where I feel like it's like, yeah, these kids are living free.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I enjoyed when they were just naming the kids that they saw on TV as though their coworkers couldn't see them. It's like, look, it's Sandy. Look, it's Danny. It's like, yes, we all see them.
That's John Travolta's sister.
The old one?
No, the one who's like, oh, that's Danny and Sandy. That's John Travolta's sister. My dad always told me that. Every time I watch the movie, I'm like, okay, thank you. I heard you the first 100 times. So that's like stuck in my head. That is John Travolta's sister.
Travolta's sister.
Every time I see her. So that's my fun fact for you guys.
I enjoy that. That's a fun fact. Does anyone else have any fun facts about Grease?
What do we all think about the, I don't know if it's a conspiracy theory, it's just a theory that Danny and Sandy are supposed to die in a car accident. And
I love it.
And that's why it's flying at the end.
That's why they're flying and everybody's like waving and
Someone texted me. Oh, I'm sorry. Someone texted me and said that it's supposed to be like Sandy dies at the beginning. And this is all her dream on her way to heaven or something.
Yeah, because she drowned. She says in Summer Night, she mentions drowning.
Yeah, when he says this isn't the end, someone texted me about it today, and I was like, I got to bring that up because I haven't heard. I heard like they both die. I've never heard that one.
Yeah, I heard the die in a car accident thing, like Susie Q style, you know.
So maybe she drowns at the beginning and then he dies in the car accident in the end, and it's like they're reunited in heaven.
That's the way they find peace.
It's like Titanic.
Exactly.
At the end. I love it.
Exactly. They're all in the boat.
Exactly.
But then again, I don't know how I feel about that if they go into, if she's allowed to go to like heaven or the afterlife once she's changed her looks and her personality.
Oh yeah.
Also,
that's why I think it would happen
in
after.
her dream. Yeah.
Sorry, what?
Yeah. I don't think she would get bullied in her dream. No.
Yeah,
that's true.
I'm like, she's getting bullied in this dream.
Was she really bullied? I guess she was lightly.
Yes.
Yeah. You ever been at a sleepover where
there's a whole song about bullying her, Matt?
Yeah.
Oh, well, she's just being too touchy. It's a tribute to her.
Which is also sad because they're calling her, look at me, I'm Sandra Dee. Sandra Dee was also bullied and like became like severe, like the real actress was like severely anorexic, and that's why she's only in one Gidget movie. She was like bullied for her weight and then wasted away. So like, I don't know, it's pretty dark, that song to me.
That's a terrifying fun fact about this movie. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you, Deep, for that. Wow. So I'd like to know what was everyone's favorite performance? Like, who was your favorite actor on this rewatch? Was there, was there anyone who specifically stood out to you? Maybe not even character if you want to take it that way, but if you have to like pick one, who did you find the most engaging to watch?
I'll go. It would be between, I think, honestly, it would be between Stockard Channing, who is usually my go-to for the acting in this film, or John Travolta, honestly, just because he does a lot of the entertaining in this film. So I don't know. I really enjoy him every time I watch this movie. It would be
his physical comedy is good in this movie.
Yeah.
Like he has a lot of good like mannerisms, like his pacing all the time. Like when he's at the dance and he sees Cha-Cha and he's like pacing. And then when he's like they're like, all right, we're going to have you wrestle this guy. And he does it again. Like, I don't know. And the whole thing is trying
him and the sports thing is so freaking hilarious. I don't know. It reminds me of what we're going to see in the future of him in Look Who's Talking. It reminds me of Look Who's Talking, John Travolta, for some strange reason. But yeah, I don't know. I really
this is now the second time we've been on one of these together, Jeanette, and you've brought up
where we brought up Look Who's Talking. Why does that happen? Why do I do that?
That's a great movie. Well, yeah, when the ring is stuck on his finger and he like uses his pomade to get it off, and then hits her. It is very funny. The wrestling thing makes me laugh every time when he like hits him like this in the stomach, like, and the coach is like, no. It's still funny. That holds up.
Also, can we talk about just for a minute, like it becomes more and more apparent every time I watch this, the homo like eroticism of the Grease Lightning scene is so abundant and lovely, and it makes it what it is. I don't know. I just really, the shaking butts in the tight pants and the guys just constantly doing this. It's very,
the whole movie. I'm watching it and I'm like,
scene is like, it's
like the whole movie. Like I'm like, so I work in a high school and I'm picturing if one of my kids went to his friends and was like, guys, we're going to show our butts like at the dance. Like the other kids would be like, what? No, like that's weird. But for the other guys to be like, yeah, let's show our butts together. Like that's so weird. Like, I don't think any of my kids would be down for that. And then like the whole movie, when John Travolta and Jeff Conway are like, like at the end, like, oh, you drive for me at Thunder Road. Like, I'm like, just kiss right now. You just want to just kiss. Do it. Like, just kiss. There's so much.
They're both in situationships though with other people.
It's okay. They belong
but
together.
But the focus is always on the male friendship part of it. Like, it's like, and in fact, they're making fun of Danny for like possibly having a girlfriend that's going to take him away from all of them. They're like very upset. Like, you're back and you're just going to like hang out with Sandy and not us. I'm like,
Ooh, yeah. No, that movie is very homoerotic. I agree, Jeanette. The whole thing. I was like, again, I was like really thoroughly watching this, you guys, and I was like, wow.
Oh, there we go.
A lot happening. A lot to discuss.
It's ahead of its time. Vince, who was your standout performer in this movie?
Oh, I gotta hand it to Johnny Travolta. Come on. This is he was on the cusp of diving into like this new world of weird religious beliefs, and I think that brought out the best of him. And like I don't know, every now and then he does a really good performance. A lot of the times he hams it up, and especially in this he hams it up a ton, and I think that works to its benefit. This film really benefits from the amount of cheese and the amount of like campiness, because whenever someone wants to watch something campy, everyone has that feeling every now and then. This is one of the films they think of. You know, maybe dust off the old VHS tape. Who knows? But it's always here. Grease lightning, baby.
I do like that you get like a John Travolta like Inception, like where he's acting within the movie when he's like trying to put on like he's not upset about Sandy and Tom. And like, don't make me laugh.
Oh, I love that laugh. Oh my god, I love that.
So good.
So much.
And it came back in Barbie. It was referenced in Barbie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hilarious.
Yes.
Yeah.
So good.
Cultural references just keep going. Miriam, who's your person? Is it John Travolta as well?
No, it's Jan. She's the best. She's so funny. When she's doing the brusha thing, I still love that. And we would do that at our sleepovers because we would watch this movie at the sleepover and we all were like Jan fans. Like she wasn't in it enough. She should have been in it more. Always hilarious. I like that she's I don't know. She's so cute. I just wish they had done more than the frizzy ponytail. Like at the end, she's like got a cute updo with a bow, and I'm like, where was this the whole time? Come on.
Yes.
And also Frenchie. I wanted more scenes with Frenchie. I think that they missed opportunities here to have these two, and maybe scenes of them together. Like I could kind of tell when you look at that girl group, you're like, oh, Jan and Frenchie are tight, and the rest are like kind of fighting for the top position. But I could kind of sense like Jan and Frenchie have the common ground here, and they're probably the ones like who are actually there for each other. I don't know. I just love them.
Yeah. Why is Marty?
And Frenchie's always there to give a pep talk and like, you're great the way you are, but if you want to change your clothes, let's go do it. I have a closet full of it. You know, it's so sweet.
Yeah, I think Frenchie has to be my all-time favorite. And also, I don't know, she holds a special place in my heart because she's the Shining Time station girl as well. And so she was the one person that I recognized as a kid. Yeah, she was one of the main people. She wasn't the star, but is that who that?
Maybe that's another reason I loved her as a kid. Frenchie was like, I was so obsessed with Frenchie.
Yeah, plus also like
so
just
pretty,
such a good personality too. There's just something really nice and positive I feel with Frenchie about having someone who's so welcoming that's also part of such a exclusive seeming clique. Yeah, and I appreciate how she has, I mean, I guess this is more the character than Didi Khan, but Didi Khan brought it to life, so I'm gonna say it goes hand in hand. I really like how she has that discussion saying, "Oh, how do you like Sandy? Can we let her into the Pink Ladies?" Like it's almost like that's a separate issue. Like regardless, she's gonna be Sandy's friend, and then maybe she can get her into their little club and get her a jacket. But either way, there's like a loyalty that I really like with Frenchie. Frenchie's solid.
And even when like Patty Simcox is being real annoying at the table, Frenchie is never involved in kind of making fun of her, right? Like she's just like, okay, like she's nice to her. I like that. You want one of the girls in this group to not be mean to everyone.
Why is Frenchie there? That isn't like because she's so nice. Like, why is she?
I think that's it. I think she's probably one of those people who she probably was part of the Beatniks as well. Like, I feel like she's the one who's like, anybody, I'll just like, I can hang out with everyone. I can bridge the gap with all these people. So, and she has like a real job outside of high school. She's in beauty school. So she's meeting like adults and whatever. I just think she already has it. She's got customer service all over her.
That is the weird thing I'm realizing now with the Pink Ladies. I feel if they didn't have the jackets and the title, those are not characters I would think would be friends. Like that specific group of them. Like you said, yeah, Frenchie and Jan probably. Marty and Rizzo.
Yes.
I guess, but I guess I don't see how those pairs come together. Yeah.
I think Frenchie's the glue, honestly. I think she's gathering all these people together and like seeing the best in all of them. But I mean, I think her rebellion and like being a Pink Lady, it is like going to beauty school while still in school. And also like, I can pierce your ears in the bathroom. Like she's a rebel for sure. She's just like, she's the Luna Lovegood type of rebel. She's just like, I don't know. I'm just doing stuff. Let's see what works.
Yep.
I also thought it was funny that this is the first of two movies that include an impromptu ear piercing scene that we have in this marathon. And we don't get to see it in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also there's not a ton of blood in the other movie, so
very true.
Who's to say which one is harder to watch? Sam, who's your standout performer in this film?
Have you told Miriam that the other movie's Parent Trap?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
Oh, yeah. Miriam signed up. Miriam's coming. She's joining us again. Yeah, the ultimate
am.
summer movie. The ultimate summer movie. Love it. Yeah. Sam, who's your person?
It is gonna have to be John Travolta. His physical comedy is like god tier in this movie, and like his dancing is just so good. Like he is so good. He's so light on his feet. I love his fit at the dance. When Miriam was talking costumes, I should have brought up like, oh my gosh, his outfit at the dance, like impeccable. Like the pink shirt, like with the big lapel and the black suit, like crisp. Love it. And like he's just so like energetic. And like it's just so high school when he's talking to Sandy and he's like, oh my God. And then he's like, oh, well, never mind. Blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like, what a boy thing to do. Like, just what a choice. John Travolta for the win in this film.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever really appreciated how good he is. Because again, my big takeaway on rewatching this was I just don't like Danny as a character, but I think John Travolta is just so effortless with how good he is that I take it for granted. But yeah, hearing everything that everyone's saying, I think he might actually be the glue that holds the movie together in the way that Frenchie's the glue that holds the Pink Ladies together. Because I think Olivia Newton-John is wonderful and charming in her way, but I don't think she'd be able to hold a whole movie without a John Travolta to balance her. And I think even Xanadu kind of proved that she couldn't really hold a whole movie, although that movie was a mess.
I need to see it.
Possible. In the best
feel like I would love it.
Yeah. It's a fun mess. It's a fun mess. But I want to talk about Rizzo. Rizzo is one of those characters that I know like a lot of people seem to love Rizzo. And I kind of get it, but I don't quite understand it, especially with Worst Things I Could Do. It's one of those songs that I listen to and like I guess I sort of get it, but the song has never super resonated with me. So I would love to hear thoughts on why do people like that song or Rizzo in general. She kind of just seems like a mean girl to my perspective.
So what I always get from that song is like, because she thinks she's pregnant, she knows that her reputation is now ruined and everyone is shunning her at school. And so she's kind of sort of saying in that song, like, there are worse things I can do than get pregnant in high school. Like her examples in the song maybe aren't like super crystal clear on that, but like she could do worse things than become a mom in high school. And so it's kind of like, I feel like it's her song, like realizing that, and maybe she was like acting out and she maybe didn't need to, kind of thing. And I feel like it's also her hard exterior coming down and showing like, I do have feelings, you guys. Like, this is crazy that you're treating me this way because something happened to me like this. So
I agree that it's definitely her saying I have feelings. I agree with most of the first part. I think it's more her saying like, not just specifically being pregnant, but being called like a slut or stuff like that. Being like, well, I could be the goody two-shoes who teases guys all day, or I could just hang out with guys and then sleep with who I choose to sleep with because I'm choosing to sleep with them. Like, or I could lead everybody on and then not be with anybody and act high and mighty, or act like I'm not better than you. And like, I always felt like that, but like to that same effect, like she's now speaking out like, hey, I have feelings regardless of all of that. And now you're judging me.
Or the line like, I could take cold showers every day and throw my life away for a thing that won't come true. Like, she could let this ruin her life. And I get the sense that if she had been pregnant, she wouldn't have let it do that. She was like kind of steeling herself for like, I'm not going to throw my life away because this has happened. Like, I'm going to figure this out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Justice for Rizzo.
Yeah.
Rizzo. Yeah. Yeah. All right. I feel like I had something else I wanted to say about Rizzo. No, I don't. It's gone now. Whatever. Yeah. Go Rizzo. Kind of similar to the who was your favorite person. I'm curious to know who is everyone's favorite like small cameo character, like the Patty Simcoxes or the Toms or the Vince Fontaines, if you will.
I like Avalon.
Oh, there you go, Frankie Avalon.
That was the best. I loved all the beach blanket movies. So then seeing him as an angel grown up, It was great, and I like that he did all kinds of teen movies. So then they had him in a teen movie. It's wonderful. I loved it, and he did a great job. That song's wonderful.
Yeah. I think that's one of those things that could go over your head if you don't understand the history of the time, because that's a really big joke in this. Like, hey, it's Frankie Avalon, but he's grown up, and they show him like close up and everything, so you can see him grown up. I think that's a good one. What was the original question? Because I had an answer and now I'm forgetting it.
Favorite like small role, cameo role.
Oh, the woman that's in Designing Women, and I can't remember her name now. But do you know the woman that's in Designing Women that is in? Oh God. Oh, she is the other. Like she's in the mechanic shop.
Oh,
She got the short hair.
Yep.
She wears the brown dress at the dance.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, that woman's hilarious. If you've ever watched Designing Women, she's very funny.
I've never seen Designing Women.
Designing Women. No, nobody.
No, sorry.
Was that the teacher
Gosh.
who's like the teacher who's like, I'm going to support my boys at this race, at the drag race?
Yeah. That's who I wanna be.
Yeah, her. She's great. I cannot remember that actress's name, but yeah, she's hilarious.
And I like that she knew they stole the parts to the car, and she like was like, "Yeah, that's fine." She's like, "This
She
car
always
is
played like a spaced out lady. Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, I'm not like a regular teacher. I'm a cool teacher. Gotta have at least one cool teacher. Vince, who's your favorite tiny character?
I don't know. Like, is the janitor a small enough character? He's
Or even a janitor in this?
he was like in the background at one point. I think he was cleaning something. I was thinking I wish he got some lines. That's all. He seemed like a real working class hero, salt of the earth kind of guy. And no one else really jumped out at me. Everyone previously mentioned they were pretty good too. Yeah. It's a good ensemble cast, and even the background, everyone pulls their weight. So
True, they all do what they have to do.
to deliver the campiest thing possible.
Is it? I feel like they could have gone harder on the camp. Personally.
Well, do they do that in the sequel? I mean, we got some people in the comments saying it's better.
Yes. Oh my God, the
Wait,
sequel is amazing.
That's wild.
Here we go.
I've only watched it once.
I've also only watched it once. I just remember Michelle Pfeiffer singing "Cool Rider."
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And I remember. Oh no, isn't there like a secret identity thing with Sandy's cousin? And then he develops an alter ego as like a superhero that has a motorcycle.
Maxwell Caulfield, hot.
Is that the character name or the actor?
That's the actor name, hot. If you've seen Empire Records, he's Rex Manning.
Oh,
Amazing.
okay.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I want to revisit Grease too. Just from what I recall, it's basically Grease but opposite. With like
We need a whole episode on the reproduction song just by itself.
Tell us about the reproduction song.
You must experience it. It's
Is it just a
It's
musical
exactly
version
what
of The
it sounds
Making of
like.
Me?
yeah. You ever seen that at Disney? It's like that.
Yeah. The Making of Me.
Oh my gosh. Oh, hilarious. Now, kind of tapping into music. Has anyone ever seen Grease live on stage, like a stage production?
Nope.
No.
Feel like yes. I think I'm gonna say yes.
Yes. Oh, do you remember?
But I
it?
also seen it on ice. Does ice count?
Ice counts. Ice absolutely counts. Well,
I
one thing
wish I could see it on there.
One thing that I think is really interesting about Grease on stage, which I sort of touched on at the beginning about how I've seen a bunch of productions, and for the most part, they've all been different because I think, the production teams have just taken it upon themselves to change the script, which is technically illegal, but I don't think they got caught, to make it seem more similar to the movie. But like the show as written, there's a lot of differences. Like Sandra Dee takes place not at a sleepover. It takes place like at lunch with pretty well the whole school listening. And then Sandy realizes the whole school is laughing at her instead of just like a few people. Sandy dates Eugene instead of a random jock.
I like that.
Yeah, she dates Eugene. A bunch of songs are different, which I think is the most jarring thing. Like, you don't get You're the One That I Want. You get a song called, it's not all shook up, but it's very, very similar. So yeah, what I think is weird, or not even weird, but commendable with this film is it almost rings similar to me as Sound of Music, which is another movie where I think the film is significantly better than what was written to be performed on stage. But then you get this weird thing where if people want to do productions of the original show, they have to essentially do the show as written. And then you get a bunch of people who only know the movie going and seeing not the movie. Like, I think the rights owners to Grease have wised up a bit, and now you can license You're the One That I Want instead of whatever the original song is. And you can also pay extra to add Hopelessly Devoted to You, because that was written for the film. But yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Do you feel like the written material should just stay as it is in spite of like movie influences? Or yeah, if you were going to go see a production of Grease, how would you feel if you had to watch the original version that didn't have like a ton of the songs that you know and love?
Oh, well, you got to give the people what they want. You know, especially with these blown up Broadway prices. You know, you're going to see Grease, you know, everyone thinks of the movie, and then you show up and you get something different than what you're expecting. I don't know. How can they not have You're the One That I Want at the end? I couldn't imagine that.
I could.
I'd be
That's
upset.
what I had to sit through when I was 10 and I saw that national tour. It was awful.
Oh no. Oh God.
I was angry. It was an angry 10.
I think it's fine because like I think about Hairspray the movie, John Waters versus Hairspray the musical, and like think about if you showed up to see Hairspray and it was the John Waters movie on stage, and like that would frighten some people. Like, it's different.
I'd appreciate seeing the cockroach dress.
The cockroach dress, yes, like would love, but like it's different. Like, talk about something set for a different time. That's different. Do you know what I mean? So like, I think like both things can coexist. And I think I don't like respectfully, Vince, like I don't like when we have to like dumb things down for people. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like if you go see Grease and like they do the original version, like that's kind of on you for like not knowing that, I guess. I don't know. Like, not everybody's like a theater nerd, of course, but like I don't like when things are like brought down to a certain common denominator because it's like, oh, this person won't understand it. It's like, well, then it's not for that person. Like, not everything is for everybody. Yeah. Does that make sense? Which is why the movie Hairspray and the musical Hairspray are so different, because the movie is not for everybody and the musical is more like, this is more digestible. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they should license both of them. And I think there should be able to be touring productions of both. I think you should be able to see both. Or if you go, I think it should be long and they should include everything. I think you should have to sit through all the musical stuff, original musical, and then you should also get all of the movie stuff. One of the other.
Someone who looks exactly like Divine for Mrs. Turnblad.
Yes.
We need a Divine impersonator. Because they're very different.
Yeah. 100%.
There are beatniks in the John Waters movie, Vince.
Oh, I remember.
I gotta check that out. But I'd love to make a rebuttal here, because I'm thinking about the parents of the kids who are, they go to see this crappy junior high production of Grease, and then all of a sudden, at the very end, the only thing that's getting them through this is this great run of You're the Only One That I Want, and you get that other thing. I don't know.
I need to find what the other thing's called. Hold on.
Look, if you go to Broadway and you should be you should do your research on Broadway. I'll concede that for sure. But I'm standing up for the common folk.
I respect that.
I hear you.
Okay.
I haven't even heard this.
Choked Up. There we go. The original You're the One That I Want is called All Choked Up, and it's not good.
Okay.
Oh, you also don't get Sandy. It's called Alone at a Drive-In Movie. That is a different song from what I recall. Yeah.
I'm like reading the Wikipedia page about it. Because I'm trying to remember the songs.
Yeah, though some of the songs that were cut for the movie are quite good. Like Freddie My Love, which we've discussed, Those Magic Changes, big fan, Mooning. And I noticed
Yes.
actually on this rewatch that a bunch of those songs, like they made their way into the movie just as incidental music, like either playing in the background on the radio or
There's Blue Moon they play whenever they go up there, right?
oh right.
Yes.
Yes, I'm standing alone.
Yeah.
What's the? Oh, it's Raining on Prom Night is one that's on the soundtrack. That's not in the
Yeah.
movie. I like
Yeah.
that song too.
I love
Yeah.
that one.
Oh yeah, because on stage, I'm pretty sure Sandy doesn't go to the dance at all because she's sick. And
Yes.
that's why. Yeah.
Yes.
'Cause it's raining.
Wow, the play sounds lamer and lamer.
Yeah,
all the
it
time.
sounds like nothing happens.
What-
No, it's
what
good.
does
Boo.
Sandy do?
There's no
She
conflict.
cries
She
a lot.
She dates Eugene. That's what she,
Yes.
Sandy sounds like even more of a wet blanket than she does in the movie.
She's kind of
Jeez.
sad a lot.
yeah.
Yeah. Also, can we talk about okay, this thing that my friends and I used to always laugh about, and I noticed it again on this watch, because honestly, I usually skip through Hopelessly Devoted to You. I like the song, but the scene is so boring. It's just somebody walking around in a front yard. I'm like, Jesus.
Are you
get
going
me
to talk
through
about how John Travolta shows up in the pool?
No, that's
Love.
fine. I'm going to talk about how she takes the paper and puts it in this baby pool, and then for literally like 45 seconds just
Yes.
swirls it around. I'm like,
Listen,
what is this girl?
you
is
are-
literally zoom out and show this girl literally just playing in a baby pool.
Listen, you're obviously not a Pisces because I could see myself doing something just like that. I was like, I get it. Listen, you're so sad that you're gonna do the weirdest thing ever at this sleepover.
I'm like
I
I'd
get
be
it.
like everybody in this neighborhood is looking at me in this front yard in my nightgown, playing with my hand in this paper in this baby pool. That's the Leo. Everybody's looking at me. I'm
Yeah,
like,
no, I'm
I
like,
cannot
oh.
do this.
I'm like, I'm in my own world, and isn't it so sad? And look at how beautifully sad I am. I would be into it.
Yeah. I'm a Pisces too. I would do it.
You get
Oh
it,
my
Matt.
God. I
You
was
get
like,
it.
look at this girl. Then they zoom out, and it's like you see how weird it looks. She's
It's
literally
cringy
just
to
sitting
watch.
there doing this. I'm like, what are you doing?
That has never stood out to me as a noteworthy thing.
No, I liked it. I'm like, oh, that's a
I've
beautiful
noticed
choice.
it since I was like 12. I'm like, what are you doing?
Although, well,
Yeah.
similar but completely unrelated, but kind of similar because it's in Danny's song, his sad song, in Sandy. I always notice the hot dog jumping into the bun.
I
Oh yeah.
love
The-
the concessions behind Danny in his
What a
song.
shot.
It is
What
the
a
only
deci-
reason
what a
I
creative
watched
choice.
that song.
I always fast forwarded that song because the opening line of "What will they say Monday at school?" I'm like, stop it right now.
Monday at school. It's very Heather's musical. I love it.
The stranded at the drive-through or drive-in. I'm like, stop! I can't with you.
I don't
always
like
fast
the
forward that.
song, but that scene is
Ugh.
great because of the concessions. It's
Yeah, it's very funny staging, but
That
it
was a
makes
gold
it-
star creative choice. Whoever did
Yes.
that.
Yeah, the song just makes me cringe. I'm like, what are we talking about right now? You were also like a really big jerk to her just now. I don't feel bad for you.
Yeah.
You know,
Also,
yeah.
guys don't talk
Mhm.
about stupid stuff like that Monday at school. Like in my high school career, nobody's gonna say jack
You-
squat about what
you
you
don't
have.
Especially
Yeah.
while Rizzo is like going through what she's going through. No one's talking about you getting left,
You.
Danny. No one.
Oh, you don't think a bunch of boys are not going to be like, you loser? You
Oh,
had
they
Sandy in your car and she left you, loser. Oh my God. 100% they would. Oh my God. Yes. Vince, you were a boy.
Well,
in high
especially if he's
school.
in
What
front of
say
the
you?
movie screen crying. Like,
That
of course they're
tracks.
going to talk about it.
Well, Vince, if
Yeah, he
you were,
ruined the movie for everyone too.
like for real, but like Vince, like honest, if you were like, I'm going on a hot date this weekend, like we're going to the drive-in, and then everyone at school saw you get left, nobody would say anything to you on Monday. They would, right?
They would. They'd think there was something wrong with me for sure. I'd be a
Your friends will
pariah.
roast you.
Especially if you were crying in front of the movie screen. They'd be
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Vince, what happened to you? That is nuts.
They need help.
Couldn't watch the dancing hot dog. I was just looking at you crying.
We were just there to see Twisters and we see you crying. And we're like, what's happening?
Yeah, all the behavior tracks. That makes sense for me.
But again, he didn't respect that no means no, so he deserved what he got.
Yep.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I didn't
That's
mention-
always
another thing
that
that
cracked
didn't
me
make-
up. Oh, Sandy!
Oh
When he
God.
launches at him, I was like, what?
And then she slams the door on him. That was good physical comedy.
Mhm.
But yeah, Danny's a jerk. Danny's a jerk.
Mhm.
He doesn't deserve her. I feel like, you know what? Can Nikki and Rizzo get married and stay married and they have kids and like it's all good? Danny and Sandy stay together for too long and then break up at a point when it's not good for either of them and they realize that they wasted time with each other.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Track.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I was about to say, where do you think all the other characters end up? But I don't know if any of them.
Most of them probably end up in prison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Frenchie's in
a
Hollywood.
lesbian. Frenchie's a lesbian for sure.
Is she?
Yeah. And
Anyway.
and I think and maybe Jan. I guess when I was a kid I thought Jan was for some strange reason.
Because they were putting her in the schleppiest
They-
clothes of
She
all
was
time.
like in these weird board shorts the whole time.
Because they're like, oh no, we cast the thinnest woman on earth as our fat character. Let's
It
put the
doesn't make
ugliest
any
clothes we can on her.
I think all of the T-Birds were on the Epstein flight logs.
Mm.
Well, the blonde
Probably
one
not
looks
wrong.
like he was the one waiting on the island for them.
Yep.
I mean, he looks like he's the Nick Carter
Maybe
of the
he's-
group there.
Maybe
I don't
what was his name? Putsy? Maybe he's real name Jeffrey Epstein.
No, I think
Maybe.
he's like he looks like a little kid. The blonde one looks like he's
Putsy,
like
what a
14.
name.
Yeah. I think Frenchie ended up in Hollywood doing hair for movies, and I think Jan went to college and left all these losers behind. That's what I think in my reality.
I like that reality.
Well, maybe Crater Face goes on to be a governor or something.
Maybe.
Probably.
Governor.
Governor.
Not a good one.
He'd be the governor of like Nevada.
Something like that.
Like, right? Or like
Yeah, he just-
Arizona.
Yeah. He's just looking for like looser laws for casinos, you know?
Correct.
hmm
It's a service. It's a service.
Again, we need Craterface origin story when.
Exactly. I'm also so entertained that he was introduced in the show as Craterface and no one had to take a second to think about who it was.
Like that guy right
Yeah,
there.
That
no.
one.
Yeah, we just knew. All right, let's go on to the game. It's game time, everybody. Woo!
Time.
Tonight we're doing a classic fill in the blanks. I'm going to put a classic Grease quote on screen. One word or like a few phrases have been replaced with just the word blank. You have to fill in that blank, and I
Oh, do we
encourage
need
you
paper?
to recite the line. Oh, no, you don't have to write it down. You just have to say it. I
Oh,
encourage you to
okay.
recite the line in character for my entertainment value, if nothing else. I'm gonna do this. Okay. Here we go. Hold on. Putting a scorecard already. All right. So, for those of you who have not played before, yeah, as I said, I'm going to put the quote on screen. There will be a blank, and then we'll just go around, and everyone will have a chance to perform their version of the line and try to get it right. And if nobody gets it correct, I award a single point to whoever like had the funniest answer. So there we are. Okay, here we go. First one. When I hear music, I just can't make my blank behave. When I hear music, I just can't make my blank behave.
Do we just shout it out if we know it?
Hmm?
How does this game work?
Okay. Yeah, you'll just all go one at a time. But if you know it, go first.
Okay.
Yeah.
He goes, when I hear music, I just can't make my feet behave.
Love it, Jeanette.
I'm muted. Sorry. I don't remember where this is at in the movie. It's so weird. I'm gonna say I just can't make my. I just can't make my legs behave.
Okay. Vince.
I just can't make my booty behave. It's shaking all movie.
Oh my goodness.
Nice. Miriam.
think this is Sunny during the hand jive. So I think it's when I hear music, I just can't make my hands behave.
It was feet. Sam, you get the point. I think it's the
Yay.
teacher or the
It
secretary.
is. It's the
Yes.
secretary.
Oh, okay.
All right, next. A hickey from Kaniki is like a blank. A hickey from
Oh,
Kaniki is like a blank.
A hickey from Kaniki is like a calling card.
Okay. Vince?
Hickey from Kaneki is like kick in the pants.
Okay. Jeanette?
Hickey from Kaniki is like a trophy.
Okay. Sam?
A hickey from Kaniki is like a calling card.
We were looking for Hallmark card.
Ah, yeah.
We were to give the very best.
Product placement.
Yeah. Next, blank and wine. That's real class, Jan.
Twinkies and wine? That's real class, Jan.
Vince?
I agree with the Twinkies.
Sam?
Twinkies.
Jeanette?
Yeah, it's Twinkies.
It was Twinkies because it's a dessert wine. It's a
Dessert wine.
Like a beautiful blonde blank.
Pineapple.
Pineapple.
Duh.
Pineapple.
I didn't realize that line would be so iconic when I was writing these questions.
Because she does. She really does look like one. And it's
And,
so
no, and
good.
it's like it's a classy, beautiful blonde pineapple too.
Mhm.
Disney bound a Dole Whip.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're right. It is a Dole Whip bound.
Listen, I've been looking for that dress everywhere just to do a Dole Whip. So you're not wrong, everyone. If you see one,
Yes.
please send it my way.
That's cool, baby. You know how it is. Blanking.
Rocking and rolling.
And then
Jeanette.
I
Yeah,
love that.
Jeanette's got it. Sam's got it. Vince, do you care? Are you going to disagree?
Rocking and rolling, baby.
Rocking and
Miriam?
rolling.
Rocking and rolling and whatnot. Mhm.
I feel like a defective blank.
Typewriter.
Yes, typewriter.
Missing your period. Yes.
We're going typewriter.
No, I'm gonna go with jukebox.
It was typewriter, but I appreciate
Ah,
the effort, Vince. There we go. There we go. There we go. Next. No use crying over blank.
Spilled milkshake.
Yep, spilled milkshake.
Vince?
sounds right. I'm going with spilled milkshake.
Maybe it should just be call it out first. That's what the game is now. I'm changing the rules midway through because this is more and have a big tie. So next, bite the blank, Riz.
Weenie.
Bite the weenie, Riz. Oh.
Sam was first. Although I'll give Miriam a point for the enthusiasm. Next, you don't have to drink blank.
Bleach. No.
You don't have to drink wine.
Okay. Miriam, Sam, I'll give you both an opportunity.
I have no
Doesn't she
clue.
just say you
Wine
don't have to
if you
drink
don't
Sandy?
want to.
Like it's like comma Sandy.
Oh. Yeah, I was gonna say wine if you don't want to, Sandy. But I thought it was like a wine was the next word.
I'm gonna give the point to Vince for the lols. The answer is tea. You don't have to drink tea.
Oh, you don't have
Nice.
to drink tea.
Parents want to invite you over for tea. Well, I don't.
I don't
drink
do
Oh
tea.
yeah.
Well, I don't do parents.
I don't
Yeah,
do
I get yeah. Damn.
And finally, blank, like the cherry.
Maraschino,
Maraschino.
like the cherry.
Iconic. All right. Okay, here we go. So these are your point standings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Miriam, you have 6 points. Vince, you have 5. Sam, you have 8. And Jeanette, you have 6. How many points would we all like to wager for the bonus question?
6, all in.
All in. Okay. Sam?
6.
6. Okay. Vince?
I'm gonna go with let's go with 5. I'm going all in.
Okay. Miriam?
6.
6. Okay. I will get you to write this one down because I want to give everyone a fair shot at this.
Oh boy.
Hang on, I need some paper.
Got it.
Okay. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to put the quote up on screen. Please write down your answer. And then when your answer is written down, we will do a go around and you will each have your chance to perform the line as you think it is meant to be performed with blank filled in. Here we go. They call me Cha-Cha because I'm the best dancer at blank. They call me Cha-Cha because I'm the best dancer at blank. In other words, what school does Cha-Cha go to?
Oh.
Yeah, ironically, this might be my favorite line in the whole movie. I don't know why I find it funny.
I need a prop. Hang on.
Okay. Okay. Well, with that said, once Miriam comes back, Miriam can start us off. Hold on. Okay. Miriam, the stage is yours. Please give us your answer.
They call me Cha-Cha because I'm the best dancer at St. Bernadette's.
With the worst reputation. Jeanette?
They call me Cha-Cha because I'm the best dancer at St. Bernadette.
All right. Vince?
They call me Cha-Cha because I'm the best dancer at Chicago High. I don't know. It starts with the C.
A very real place. Yes.
Okay, Sam.
They call me Cha-Cha because I'm the best dancer at St. Bernadette's. Oh, no, you can't see. It's so bright in here. Guys, I'm so sorry. Hold on. I have this like, there we go.
There it is.
I'm so sorry. Oh my God. I'm like on my vanity and the lights are crazy. I apologize.
Well, don't apologize because you just won, Sam. Woo!
Yay! I won a game finally.
Yeah, you did. I love Cha-Cha being from St. Bernadette's. It's also extra funny when you see a production where Cha-Cha is actually not that great of a dancer. So you're like, wow, what do the rest
Sad.
of the St. Bernadette's have or not have? There it is. Okay.
So sad.
Yeah, I also like that implies she goes to Catholic school. Hilarious.
Yeah.
That checks out.
It checks
though.
out. It honestly checks out to me. Mm-hmm.
Think about like the worst kids you knew growing up. Yeah, they went to a Catholic school.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that. Yeah.
At least the meanest, yes.
Yeah.
And
To
the
an
most
Catholic school.
rebellious, I would say.
That's a great word. That's
Rebellious?
a great word.
Yeah. Yeah, and Cha-Cha, she just wants to dance. She just-
And go into perimenopause.
Wow.
Say.
Harsh. Not wrong, but harsh. Okay. Well, before we wrap things up, one last question I wanted to ask was, I am curious, if you were to ever cast yourself in a production of Grease, who would you want to play out of all the characters? Like male, female, yeah, like you have your pick of the litter. If you want to go, like, if you want a gender bender role, go for it. But I would just love to know, who would you love to play on stage and why? Is it for a song, for a costume, for a specific scene? Who wants to go first? Vince, I want to know who are you going to play in this show?
You know that janitor I mentioned?
Yes.
I'm going with the janitor, and
Nice.
they might even give me my own song because I'm gonna play the hell out of the janitor.
Yeah, you are. Okay. Miriam, who are you playing in Grease?
Brusha. Gotta go
Dan?
with Dan. She is a dessert wine. Okay, love her.
She is the moment. She is an icon.
Mhm.
Sam?
I like want to say Frenchie because I feel like I'd fit the vibes, but like Rizzo has the best songs. So
Mhm.
that'd be cool to explore. Be singing those songs and going through that character arc. I feel like I'll say Rizzo.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Jeanette?
I mean, honestly, when you said we could open it up to gender bend, I've always wanted to be Danny. So, like, I would want to be Danny, but I think I would fit more safely into probably like a Rizzo, even though I can't sing, so maybe not. But just based
Few
on
Rizzos
like,
can. Few Rizzos can.
yeah, so sure, go for that. I think that's where I'd more safely fit. But yeah, if I could just pick, I'd pick Danny. But I can't dance like that. I don't think. I've never tried. Maybe I can.
Maybe you
Try
can.
it out.
Yeah, if I were to gender bend, I'd go Frenchie just because for the vibes and the costumes, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I were to not, I said earlier, Kaneki, because he sings Grease Lightning on stage, which is the song he deserves to sing, and just all around good guy, like kind of jerky, but not nearly as problematic as Danny. Again, Team Kaneki, big fan. All right, well, there we go, everyone. That was Grease. Woot!
Oh.
So we reach that point in the evening. I'm going to put you on screen. Please feel free to give us your closing thoughts on the film and then let everyone know who you are, what you do, and where they can find you. Who are we going to start with? We'll start with Vince Fontaine.
Hey everyone, it's me, Vince Fontaine. Big name reveal here. Oh wow, what a show. What a great episode. What a fun movie. Not a great movie, but a fun movie.
Amen.
In my opinion. Anyway, I run a channel on YouTube, TikTok. It's called Only Time Will Tell, under the name Vinny Ridge Media. I'm doing a bit of a hiatus right now. I'm doing some soul searching. And by that, I mean I've been going to haunted houses and hunting ghosts. So there's going to be some great content coming up just around the corner. But not for a while. The corner's far away, but stay tuned.
Okay. That we shall. Woo! It's Sam.
Hi. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh no.
So I like the movie. Obviously, a classic. Aged poorly, but still love it. You know, sometimes you just turn off your brain and enjoy a movie. Always fun to chat with these fine folks about a film. Nothing interesting going on with me social media wise. You can follow me on Instagram at Disney_Sam728. Or you can follow me on TikTok at funeral_MAS. Doing a lot of makeup content over there, so check that out. Thanks for having me, Matt. As usual, always a blast.
Thank you, Sam. Woot. Miriam.
Okay, this movie. If you like beautiful costumes and campy storylines, this is for you. Please give it another look. Why not? Frenchie and Jan will become your new favorite characters. I promise you. Let's see. You can find me on the Churro Fund on Instagram and TikTok. I'm doing like a bunch of Disney bounds where it's about to be Halloween Horror Night season. So I'm going to be going to a lot of haunted houses as well, but you know, of the theme park variety. And you can also find me and Jeanette on We Like Theme Parks podcast. We talk about all kinds of theme park stuff. And that's it.
Thank you, Miriam. Woo.
Bye.
Hey. So you know you can find me here every week. And when I'm not doing things where I can't be here. And you can find me at TinkerJ787 on Instagram. You can find me on We Like Theme Parks podcast with Miriam. And yeah, I have some stuff coming up. Like Miriam said, we're going to be, you know, like everybody's going to be doing the spooky stuffs. I'm going to be going to Halloween Horror Nights as well. And hopefully doing some haunts around here, doing the fall stuff, doing the Renaissance Festival stuff, going to the beach before the end of summer. And yeah, it's just going to be a lot of fun coming up. So check it out. And I'll see you next week.
Thanks, Jeanette. And if you're watching, this is my channel. My name is Matt and I have 2 Degrees. And join us next week where we will be discussing another summer movie with less fun vibes. We are going to be talking about Stand By Me based on the Stephen King short story, The Body. So if this movie made you believe in friendship, next week's movie will make you believe in it, but only in a tragic way. So looking forward to that. Thanks for joining us. Keep an eye on the channel because I finally got around to shooting a video I've been working on for way too long. It's probably going to be really long as well. Please watch it because it was a lot of effort. I'm not going to say what it's about yet, but you'll know it when it shows up. You'll know it when it shows up. Until then, thank you, everyone. Teacup out. How do you end this?